Hey cuties, Peachy here, welcome back to a new video, and in this video it's been a couple days since the reveal of Series 5, so in this video we're gonna do the aftermath of Series 5. Obviously we were all excited for the reveal, and so we were all just kind of like happy to see Series 5, but after sitting with the new dolls for a while, you know, letting it sink in what the designs are and what could have been better, I feel like there's a lot more to talk about here. So starting off with Aiden Russell. I said in my video that I think he's cute, you know, he's very show accurate in my opinion. I think he looks like his outfit is the same, his face is the same, the eye shape is the same, the hair is different, you know, fine, but I think overall they did a really good job at making him show accurate, which is what we all want to see. So it's kind of weird now that, you know, when he does look show accurate, everyone's like, oh, he looks bad. Like, I mean, yeah, he's not like exciting, but he's accurate, so at least we have that. And overall, I put up polls on my story. The overall reaction, you know, to like if people liked this doll was kind of mid. It was in the middle, it was like 50-50. But then I asked for, you know, if they did a good job with the actual translation of show accuracy, and once again most people, you know, voted kind of like in the midsection, so that's kind of like what most people feel about this doll. So it's kind of like a split 50-50 of yes I love and no I don't like. I also put up a question box, so people left a few comments saying, again, I think overall people were like just he's show accurate but he's kind of boring, or most people were like, oh, he looks like a Karen. I don't yes, it's kind of been very tame. The reactions, the opinions so far is kind of like, oh, he's okay to he's ugly, you know, and not just because he's a boy doll. I mean, it probably doesn't help, but also because the hair, apparently the hair is just kind of like not show accurate at all. And I get that in the show, his hair is much more it's like much more interesting because it's kind of spiky, it's all over the place, and in the doll they obviously could not translate that kind of hairstyle realistically in a real life doll because it's all spiky. It's like, it's very natural, it's kind of choppy, and so on the doll it looks more, it's obviously gelled, and it looks to be more like just a kind of like standard like hairstyle, you know, and it's like flocked on the sides, and the hair color also is not the same. The hair color is lighter and it's more like, so overall he looks more gray, you know, the hair color, the outfit, it looks more gray on the doll than on the show. He looks more like iridescent. He has more of like an iridescent theme in the show, with the jacket also being like chromatic or whatever, and on the doll, you know, his hair is lighter and probably even has tinsel, and the jacket is no longer see-through and no longer has the kind of like material, you know, so it's kind of like he just looks more gray now. He just looks very plain now because the color shifting effect is no longer there on the outfit and in the hair, and the hair is just completely different now. So yeah, I agree, he does look different, but to me he looks show accurate, and he's a pretty good, you know, rendition of the character. And I also saw some people wonder why they didn't include Aiden in like a big set like they did with Avery and Ainsley, so because maybe then he would have had more pieces and he would have looked better, but realistically they wouldn't have put a boy doll to be an exclusive doll in a playset. Just, it wouldn't have sold as well. So I definitely see why they just put him in a core series. It just makes sense. I was also curious to see who would be like the favorite Rainbow High boys so far, and so I put up a poll again, and actually people voted for Ash. Like the result ended up being in between Ash and Rex. So the Shadow High boys are just, you know, really slaying it. Next we have Kim, the denim icon, you know, and I think for her there wasn't as much drama. I think the eyeliner, the bangs, the hair was really more of the talking point. But here we also have a look of the early design of Kim next to the final result, and the skin tone seems to be the same, but the outfit and everything just looks so different. isn't. And I actually think that she looks better in the final result. Also, I didn't know that the 4th of July design was actually a very similar copy of Kim's design. That's very interesting. And we never got that doll either, the 4th of July doll. I don't know why. But most talking points for Kim were about her hair and how she looked very similar to a certain, you know, character from Monster High, Cleo Denial. Especially the live action version of Cleo. I mean, just look at those bangs, the color, the deep blue, black. It definitely gives me Cleo Denial vibes from that movie. And I don't know, I don't think it's like a shade. It's like shade towards Monster High, or it's like a reference. I don't think it's like supposed to be that deep. I think the hairstyle was just like a very big, you know, it coincidentally just looked a lot like Cleo's hair. And also Raquel. I heard some people say that as well, that she looked a lot like Raquel, and I see that as well. I think overall, aside for the hair drama, you know, who did it better, Cleo or Kim? Let me know down below. Aside for the wig, the bangs, you know, the bangs and the hair, there wasn't too much, you know, backlash to Kim. I think she is probably one of the most favorites out of this series for most people, even though the shoes are definitely very boring and the outfit is very simple, but I do like the denim and the jacket, so you know, you get what you get. Next up, we have Olivia Woods, and for her as well, there wasn't really much, you know, backlash about her. She's one of the top 3 favorites from this series, and I still think she's really beautiful. Even after all these days, you know, she holds up really well. I love that olive green, like military green shade she has, and also like, oh, look at all these references for inspiration for the fashion, the shade of green, the hairstyle, Rihanna. I mean, it all really fits well together, and I think she just really looks good in her outfit, the boots. And I also don't like camo, like camouflage green or like military green, but this to me reads more like olive green. Like this to me is more like an olive shade than it is like military green or camouflage green, or maybe it's like a good mixture. I think it could be both. Maybe olive green is more like a lighter green, I feel like. Yeah, probably. Either way, I think her not having camo but it looks like camouflage, like the pattern, is genius. And the boots matching the jacket, I just love, and her hairstyle as well. And I think, again, most people really love her as well. Nearly everyone who voted for her voted very highly for her, so she's almost at the very top there. And I think she's definitely gonna stay one of the main favorites for series 5 for sure, just because she's so cohesive and she just works so well. Then for the fan favorite, Victoria Whiteman, or is it Whitman? Is it Whiteman like the color white, or Whitman without the E at the end? I'm not sure, but Victoria, her design changed a lot, you know, the early design and versus the final result. The silhouette of the dress or the two-piece is very similar, the hairstyle as well, but the colors changed a lot for the skin tone, the dress, the hair. So she definitely looks a little bit different, but I do think that they made the right choice with giving her freckles all over her body, and also giving her very specific eyebrows and lip makeup. I think that really works in her favor, but her overall color theme is still a mystery to most of us. She's supposed to be like strawberry blonde, I think, but she's like a peach, like a in between, like a natural shade. Yeah, so she's a very interesting shade of color, because I think she's kind of like a mixture, which it makes her even more unique. So I think she is gonna stay the fan favorite for forever for this series. She is this series of Delilah. You know, Delilah for series 4. This is her for this series. You know, this is the doll for series 5. She is the Delilah of series 5. She is just so stunning, and even aesthetically, they both have very similar vibes. You know, they're both very sweet and pastels. So yeah, I think she's very pretty, and I don't have any faults for her. I think they did a really good job from the early design to the final design. The changes were done very well. The freckles, the makeup, yeah, I think she's gorgeous. Then for the last 2 characters, these were the most controversial and talked about dolls in this series. Starting off with Michelle St. Carlos, or Charles. Did I say Carlos? Wait, is it Charles? I think it's St. Charles. Wait, no. Did I get it wrong this entire time? So her name is Michelle St. Charles and not St. Carlos. Why did I think it was Carlos? Oh no. People were pointing out that she looks like this background character, and I can definitely see the similarities with the short hairstyle, you know, the specific shade of orange, but it's not confirmed, and I don't think it's the same character. Maybe, I think she's a new character, so I don't know. Anyways, so with Michelle, obviously people were pointing out that she also looks very alike to Mina and Coco. She looks like, you know, like this picture right here. She looks like a mixture between Mina and Coco. So like Mina plus Coco equals Michelle. And I definitely can see that because the face mold is Coco's, and then the shade of orange is very similar to Mina's. And so people were also, you know, kind of, you know, concerned whether or not her, you know, color theme would be too similar to Mina's. And I do think it's going to be different in person. I think her color is more brighter of an orange, you know, but again, let's see, I guess. But by far the biggest talking point for her was that she would have been perfect if they had given her an afro or like some kind of textured hair, because while yes, getting a shorter hairstyle kind of like bob with her is, you know, it is unique. We don't have many rainbow high dolls with this kind of a hairstyle that's short. It still would have just fit way better if she had textured hair like an afro. I think this would have made much more sense, and it would have just also completed the look a lot better than her just getting like short gelled hair. You know, I feel like it was definitely a missed opportunity, and to this day we only have 4 dolls of Shadow High, Rainbow High that have textured hair. So that just kind of that kind of tells you a lot. That speaks volumes that Rainbow High MGA is still not making any changes enough to change, you know, to make a difference and to include more diversity with different hair textures and hairstyles. And so yeah, I don't know why is this such a big problem. OMG dolls have a ton of textured hair and they work well, they look great, so why can't they do the same with Rainbow High? But in any case, the doll itself still looks really good, and I think again, besides the similarities between Mina and Coco and the textured hair, people were really fond of her. You know, she's not as high up as with Victoria or Olivia, but she is still one of the more favored ones of the series. Oh yeah, and I think we're all kind of scared to find out whether or not this material they use for her jacket is in fact the same one that they used for series 1 of Amaya, you know, the translucent vinyl looking material, because it really does prohibit and restrict movement and articulation and posing, especially. Like, all you can pose her in is with her arms, you know, splayed out, just like straight out, and that's it. You can't bend them because they will just fall back into place because of the restriction of the jacket. So that definitely is also not helping, but maybe it's a lesser rust, maybe it's like a different material. I don't know. I really hope it's not the same one, but realistically it probably is, and it sucks. Then moving on to the last girl, Miss Priscilla Perez, and for her, a lot of the talking point was about how different she looked from her original design. A lot of people said that the melanin, you know, aka the darker, you know, skin tone, the tan that she had going on, definitely was one of the attributes that you know, made her stand out more and made her look differently enough to Stella or Bella, because, you know, now in her final, you know, version, she just has the pale skin tone, and she does look very similar to Stella now. But I found a couple of edits where the people gave her like a darker skin tone, and with one edit specifically, they even gave her the elongated dress. This one here, it looks so good. Oh my god, I don't know why they changed the dress to be shorter. I mean, look at this longer dress version. I feel like it just looks more unique. The length, the skin tone, the eye color also being darker. I feel like this is what she could have looked like and what she should have looked like. But instead, we got this whitewashed version of Priscilla, and she's not horrible. Like, she still looks really cute. I like the gloves, the little fur stole she has going on, or whatever it is. But it definitely just takes away a lot of the uniqueness and originality that the original design had in store for her. And now she just kind of looks like a copy of Stella and Daria and Bella. So let's see, you know, how she stands out from the crowd of pink dolls, you know, in real life, because, you know, I really do hope that she looks unique enough. But yeah, the different skin tone, that darker tan skin tone would have really helped, even if they kept a short dress, even if, you know, but the skin tone, like, they really should have kept the tan, you know, like it would have helped so much. And that was the aftermath of series 5. Overall, I think it's a solid series, but definitely probably not better than series 3 or series 4. It's just those series are just much more solid, you know, and just better executed overall. You know, Aiden, he is a boy doll, so obviously that's already one minus point against him. Just boy dolls don't do as well. But even then, I still think he's a solid effort for an Aiden doll. And then, you know, Victoria, Kim, and Olivia, those 3 dolls are basically like perfect. They don't really have any faults. They look great. And in some cases, even with Kim, the final design ended up being even better than the original artwork design. Now with Michelle and Priscilla, there could have been some stuff that could have made them better, you know, the hair texture for Michelle, the skin tone for Priscilla, some stuff like that. But overall, they're still really pretty dolls, and they still don't like outweigh the positives from this series. They're really it's just those 2 dolls that they could have done better. So overall, series 5 still a really solid effort and still a really good series for Rainbow High. And there's still so much we have yet to see, like the artwork, the character descriptions, and I also believe that some of these dolls will look even better in real life. Let me know what you think of series 5 and what are some things they could have done better to some dolls. But that was the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way daily and keeping you up to date with what dollty you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time stay peachy. Kisses.